Hello, in this video I'm going to show how to create a simple GUI in Unity 4.2 and how to switch scenes. So I've created a new game object which I'm going to call main menu, and I'm just using that to hold a script. I'm clicking on add component, add a new script, and I'm calling it main menu, and I'm going to do it in C#. So if I double click on that script, it's going to open it in mono develop, which is here. It gives you the start and update functions, but I'm going to use a different function called onGUI. So I'm first going to make a box. This is going to be like a background box for the menus. For the buttons. So I'm making a new box out of a rectangle. You can see that's left, top, width, and height. And it's going to have a title at the top of the box called loader menu. So this if statement is going to do two things. On every frame, the GUI.button call is going to actually draw the button, and if the button's being clicked, then it's going to return true, and it's going to run what's inside of the curly braces. So in this case, I want to use the application class, and I want to use the load level function, and I'm going to use the index of the scene I want to load. I haven't actually created the scene yet, but the first scene is going to be 0, and the next scene is going to be 1, and the next one is going to be 2. So I'll do the same thing if GUI.button, and that's going to create another button. Just when it checks the condition, it'll create the button, and if the button happens to be pressed at the moment, it'll return true, and it'll run the inside of the function. So this time I'm going to use application.loadLevel2. And I'm missing a curly brace here that I will discover in a few minutes. So I'm going to save that and go back to Unity. So the current scene I'm on is going to be the main menu scene. So I'm going to save this scene, call it main scene, and then go to File, Build Settings, and add this scene to the list of all the scenes in the build. Click that Add Current button, and you see it had the index 0. So now I'm going to go make a new scene. And just so that we can distinguish the scenes from each other, I'm going to create a sphere, just so we have something to look at so we know where we are. I'm using the scale tool here. Kind of looks like an egg. And I'm going to take the camera and move it back so we can see it. And I'm going to add a light. With a directional light, the position of the light does not matter at all. So here I'm moving it, but that doesn't do anything at all. Only the rotation matters for a directional light. But we can see it now, so I'm going to save that scene as egg scene. And I'm going to go to the build settings and add it to the current build. And it had the index 1. So that'll be level 1. So I'm going to make a new scene and put a cube in this scene. And I'm going to put a directional light. And here I move it again, but it's just to get it out of the way. It doesn't change anything because it's directional. Move the camera back so that we can see this thing. And I'm just moving the camera around just because I want to get a nice view. if you double click on an object in your hierarchy, it'll the scene window will jump to it. And so here I'm thinking, why can't I see the top of this box? Because the camera isn't high enough. There it is. So I'm just tilted down. And okay, so let's save that. Let's save it as cube scene. Okay, and go to the build settings and add it to the current build. And now I should be able to hit the play button and see what happens. I double clicked on the main scene first and hit the play button. It says I have a compiler error, so where do I go to see my compiler errors? I go to my console, which is at the bottom. And if I double click on that error, it opens the script. And in a few seconds I will realize that I was missing a curly brace on line 17. And I save it and run it again. And you can see my little menu there. If I hit level 1, you see an egg. If I stop it, start over, and then click level 2, you see the cube, and stop it. And that's how you switch scenes.